In
page
progress.
Yud Zayin, top of the page, and we were speaking about the levels of the name Yisrael versus Yaakov, and that also has to do with the idea of Afar Yaakov, which is the dust which is going on Torah mitzvahs, on mitzvahs, which is the idea versus Yisrael, Li Roish, it's the idea of the head, that has to do with the level of Roiva, which is the idea of Revia, water, and that mixture of water and earth is it brings down the level that's higher than the Stalshus. Actually, now he's going to talk more about the mixture of the two. So let's see the beginning of Ois Zayin. V'zel mimana far Yaakov, who will count and who can count the dust and earth of Yaakov? Offer Daike. Why specifically dust and earth? Like it's explained earlier in the first ice. Yaakov is Baruch Bafara Oretz. Yaakov was benched with the dust of the earth. L'mayla mi Yitzchak is Baruch B'chelayam, higher than Yitzchak, that was benched with the sand of the sea. L'mayla mi Avram is Baruch B'chechavim, and higher than Avram that was benched with stars. How come? The idea behind this is the stars, their place is in the heavens. The goal of the Yidden is to be specifically down here below. They lastly is to be able to make for Hashem a home down here below. So that's why Afar, which is lower seemingly, is higher than stars. How about, why do we say that Afar, the dust of the earth, and is higher than even the sands of the sea that Yitzchak was promised? So he says in line 8, concerning the sand of the sea, that Yitzchak was benched, though, so the sand of the sea will not be able to be counted because of how much sand there is. Since every grain of sand is a separate grain. Therefore, it's possible for someone that wants, it is within the realm of possibility to be counted. The only thing is, it will be much. It will be an unbelievable number, which makes it difficult to count. But it's not an impossibility because every grain is a separate grain of sand. For when it comes to earth, clouds and clumps of earth on their own are not at all within the category of something that can be counted. First, you got to crumble it so you should be able to count them. And how much more so when, in addition to the earth, is also added to it water, which we said water is the idea of Roiva Yisrael, Roivas, and the word Revia, the rains. Ein Mayim El Torah, which in spiritual aspects means when you add the idea of Torah to the person's avodah, when the unity and oneness that Torah has comes down also in the idea of mitzvahs afar Yaakov. That's why it has to be not just nasa, but it has to be also the nasa kodim lenishma, because by having the nishma afterwards, it brings down the unity of the Torah, the achdus of Torah. It brings it down into the mitzvahs. And the Rebbe continues with the bracha is ches. Why they must say what would you say to a meshach zman goals through our actions and service throughout the duration of the time of Golus. In the mimon afar Yaakov, and the idea of who has counted the dust of Yaakov, mispers Rebbe Yisrael, and the number of the roiva, in other words, the rains of the waters of Yisrael, in the avoid of a person. So when a person has that in their avodah, so then there's the idea of who has counted the dust of Yaakov and the number of Rabbi Yisrael in the literal sense. Like it'll be when Mashiach comes, that literally Yidden will be without numbers. In other words, by our avodah, beruchnius of Torah mitzvahs, we bring about what's going to come when Mashiach comes. Then it will be the Yidden will be so many not just the way Moshe Rabbeinu promised the Yidden, Chumash Dvarim, he said that Hashem will add upon you 1,000 times as much. But the Yidden told Moshe Rabbeinu, no. Like the Yidden responded to Moshe when he gave them this bracha that you should have 1,000 times as much. You give a set amount to the bracha, meaning it's 1,000 times, not 1,001 times, not 1,000,000 times. And Yidden told Moshe, Hashem promised, if a person would be able to count, would they be able to count the children of Avram? Moshe, when the Yidden complained and said, why do you give a number when Hashem already promised beyond numbers? So Moshe responded, Zu elefam shali. This 1,000 is what I'm giving. That's my bracha. But then it says further, kasher dibur lachem. Yosef alechem kachem elef pamim kasher dibur lachem. Like he spoke to you. It's seemingly, where did he speak to the Yidden that he's going to add to them 1,000 times as much? Or he's going to make them 1,000 times as much. So Rashi, the Sifri, divides it and saying there's two separate brachas over here. One thing is what Moshe Rabbeinu said, that from me, I am giving you a bracha to be 1,000 times as much. And then the Eibishter will be kasher dibur lachem. The Eibishter will give you a bracha even more so, like he promised you, shaloi b'hadraga, without any type of limitations and going step by step and so on. Behind this means though in the literal sense, in the physical. Top of the last page, since the earth is limited, it only can, like we said in the beginning of the Maimer, that it will take 500 years to walk from one end to the other. Though it's an area that includes an unbelievable number, still in all, still in all, the land area of the world still can be counted. Like Abelazar said, that it's possible for me to estimate how many drops there are in the sea. So just like Abelazar could estimate how many drops there's in the sea, you could, the area of the earth is also something that can be quantified and is limited. Still in all, it's not inyan ha'eches, because of the quality. Primarily because how the Yidden are bound up in the Torah. And the Torah is bound up in Hashem. And not just they're one bound to each other, but even more so until Yidden and Torah and Hashem are entirely one. So it's totally beyond the category and the level of number. And therefore, we say that there is no number to the Yidden when Mashiach comes, even though the physical location of the earth might be limited. So to us comes down here below in a way of who has counted the dust of Yaakov, the number of the seed of Yisrael, in the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our times.